Today, we're in Maine to visit our next hero of nature, Stacy Pizzutti, who teaches us about bees and how to create a more natural habitat.
My name is Stacy Pizzutti. I have taken another stance on providing bees a habitat instead of boxing bees. I feel it's a more natural thing for them. Just from my experience, I did keep bees for the first couple years, and they would not survive through the winters. But since we established habitats for them, I put a log that me and my husband had a fallen tree, so we took the log and cut it up, and then we hollowed it out and put some caps on the ends of them and a doorway so that we could kind of look in there if we needed to, and just put it up. And then every year we've had swarms go in there, but for the last couple years we've now had an established colony. After I had stopped keeping bees in boxes, I just totally gave up and said, I'll just let nature do its thing. I decided to say, enough is that, I'm not going to do anything. I stopped feeding them sugar water because to me, sugar water does not seem like a healthy thing for a bee. Just like if I fed my kid sugar water, it can't be healthy for them. Bees are a pollinator, and we need bees to pollinate. We need to, for our food chain. So then they can go about a 3-mile range doing their thing, finding pollen, pollinating plants. I mean, I find that some of the best food is coming from just letting the plants do their thing and let the bees go in and pollinate them. And I've heard of stories of artificial pollinating, but to me, it just doesn't sound like a good thing to do. Why would we let nature do its thing? Because it's what keeps us going, what keeps them going, and they've been doing it for eons, before we even probably were around at this point.
Why are we losing the bees? Where are they going?
A lot of insecticides, neonicotinoids are being sprayed. When you're trying to mass produce crops and things, and you're trying to keep your crops from disease and bugs that are coming in eating them, they will spray them, or weed insecticides to keep the weeds down. The bee populations here have dropped tremendously because they truck in all these bees, and then disease is being passed around from these bees that are being in boxes. And supposedly they're inspected, but how can you check easily for a diseased bee? You can't. I'd like to see that they don't truck in bees anymore, that we do stuff like this and start building habitat to draw natural bees around instead of trucking them up and into the states. Let's encourage bees to develop and grow around in natural habitats. Example is that tree there has water in it, and the bees are finding it in the woods. We try not to cut down as much of the weeds and things, because there's a lot of beneficial weeds out here. So we don't cut our lawn until the dandelions have gone by and done their thing, so that we know that the pollinators have gotten their good fill of the food. I'm sure they could go to other places, but I love walking out and seeing the bees and seeing all the other pollinators going around and just taking the food. And plus, dandelions actually is a really good beneficial. I mean, you can make coffee from its roots. They're good to eat, the greens. So there's a lot of beneficial things for not only bees, but as well as for us as well. I personally feel that nature is always going to change, whether we want it to stay the same or not. It's not going to. It's going to change. It's just what the world has done for eons. So
What's a way we can get
adapting,
people
right?
excited about bees and nature?
I think this education. Education is important, and to stop thinking that there's only one way to maintain bees. And they don't have to do what I do, but I do it because I can. I have the space, I have the trees here that we don't go and just cut down a tree. We see what falls to the ground and we give it new life. That's how I look at it. We've given it new life. So, I mean,
Well, we think what you're doing is pretty special.
it is.
I mean, it's amazing, and we need more people like you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why we're doing this, is to try to draw some attention to these issues and be like, hey, look, we can do this ourselves.
Being able to not pack them all into one spot. And that to me, when I drive by and I see that, I mean, people get excited. Well, I'm helping the bees. But if you have a field, I would put some here, some maybe another on the other side of the field instead of putting them all together. But
Wow.
Yeah,
Well-
bees know how to be.
yes, exactly, exactly. And this is how we've proven it: is that they can take care of themselves. They know how to do it.
Super impressive. And
And I
Hopefully
would-
people will hear this and learn from this.
And that's why I was.
We don't see stuff like this.
No,
right?
and this is what I was hoping for. And me and my friend, we talk about this all the time. And how do you get out the word? How do you, today people want to fight about everything. I'm not a fighter. I won't fight for a cause, but if you want me to join a cause, I will join it peacefully.
but what you're doing is showing by example,
Yeah.
right? And that's what we need more of. You don't have to have, your ego doesn't have to have a side or a thing. Just show by example. And if it's working, that's all you need, for people to see
And
that.
You're not doing it for your benefit.
No.
No.
You're doing it for their benefit.
Yep.
And that's the special.
And the
Yeah.
things that I get from it is they come around, they pollinate our garden, so we're getting very good vegetables and our wild raspberries and blackberries and all that stuff is flourishing because we are letting nature do what it does best.
You're coexisting together, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we just want to thank you for being a hero of nature. And
I'm so glad you guys came. It was a lot of fun.
we appreciate everything you're doing, and I'm sure the bees do.
Yeah, I'm living proof.
That's right. That's so exciting. Yeah, and just keep doing what you're doing, and it's pretty fantastic. It's amazing for our kid to be here and see this, and so cool. Thank you for having us.